Welcome back to Hotel D'Amico. We have an episode of Sibling Rivalry. A couple 80s babies, a couple 90s babies.
Ooh.
Right.
You want to get right into it there, Jack? Tell me about growing up
Right.
in the
Yeah.
90s.
In the 80s?
I'd say school in the 90s.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I was around early 90s, and it was a wild time, I mean, being a kid and being young and trying to figure all that stuff out, it's just, it's not easy,
Which year were you born?
87.
Okay. I'm 89.
Okay.
Got the tail end of it. Everyone says the 80s and 90s were some of the best years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The last great generation.
Well, the last generation before things truly got, I want to say bizarre.
Yeah.
Or just different.
Right.
Well, I think with the internet, it's like life before internet and life after. Like your guys' mom was just saying how like back in high school, there was like some kid drove a tractor to school, and like that just screams pre-internet to me because who would go to those lengths?
That would never happen.
He drove
and then even in the 90s.
No.
It's just like people have different priorities now, and they're like, no, I'd rather just like bury my face into my phone than do something creative.
Right.
Like, where's the modern day tractors being driven to school? I want to see that effort out of people.
Metaphorically, the tractors. With everyone's faces and phones, I feel like dances aren't even a thing anymore. And that was like really a coming of age at that age, wouldn't you say so? Like middle school dances, how horrific they were.
Oh my God.
We had Jammin' 94.5 do our middle school dance.
DJing.
And Jammin' 94.5 is like a
DJ,
Boston hip hop
Dog.
rap station. And
Barbosa.
I remember they were like playing O-Town. Do you guys remember O-Town?
Of course.
So they were playing they weren't playing as like hard of rap as they would on the radio. They were playing like more pop songs and everything. And I remember they did a breakdancing contest. And my friend won it. He's actually pretty good at breakdancing, and the prize was an O-Town CD. So it was like, this have been early 2000s, and he didn't want the CD. So like after he won and like he's standing up in front of everyone, like he just won the contest, he went to go like throw the CD into the crowd, but he threw it too high, so it just like went straight up to the ceiling and then went straight down and just like shattered on the ground.
In front of Roy Barbosa.
In front of Roy Barbosa.
Not even pre-internet, but pre-having your license. Like, do you recall like some of your spots you would hang out at before you had your license? Like, we had a local roller kingdom we would hang out.
Yeah, Roll on America.
They had Roll on America. We had Roller Kingdom.
Sunoco. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
Sunoco and Hudson. And it got so popular that this gas station with a parking lot that was really not that big at all, maybe fit like 8 spots, had like up to 30 kids there, like pre-gaming and waiting to find like a place to go party at.
Right.
The gas
Party at the
station
Moon
like,
Tower.
what is going on?
Well, growing up in the suburbs, it wasn't your typical scene when you would go out at night. It was a lot of pits and woods and fires, your typical suburban thing to do. I was always in the woods partying. I always woke
just
up on
driving around,
Yeah.
dicking around with your friends, yeah.
We built like a Gerald's Field, Hey Arnold, where like Gerald has his field. Like we built our own version of Gerald's Field, which was basically like lugging a collapsible table into the woods by Centennial.
And they'd always get shut down. And you'd have to find like the new place to go. Like
the cops would always be on it. I was actually thinking of this the other day, how like, didn't the cops used to make like fake Facebook accounts and trap kids? Like they would pick some picture of like some model girl and be like, what's up for tonight? It's like, there's 100 people in this high school. We know you don't go here.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just so obvious. Like that's like their big plan. That's like,
do you remember, so I will say the tail end of MySpace, and then when Facebook would start for our age group, we'd be in high school at the time, and the week before, you would always put out pictures from the partying that week. So come Monday, the pictures from Friday and Saturday would be up, and everybody wanted to flaunt the fact that they had alcohol in their hands. Everyone's drinking underage.
Red Cup.
Right.
Red Cup, or they
make
would
sure it's like Bud Light, like on the picture.
or they would do the typical like the paint app on it and write like Coke on it, or right. But anyways,
I never went that far.
No.
Well, the local,
I never took it that
the,
far.
Our graphic designer.
No, I
saying,
had
"Hey, my
pictures on
Coors Light."
MySpace of like a Bud Light in one hand and a handle of alcohol
Captain
in the
Morgan.
other.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
the
picture.
reasoning
Oh.
for this behavior is because our hometown police would be looking on the internet and were pretty much getting kids in trouble for underage
Yeah.
drinking.
thank God I wasn't home.
Yeah.
But the thing also is like, I don't know what the actual repercussions of that were if they just like told your parents, but you can't prove that I had any alcohol based on a photo.
You know what
so
it
it's like
was?
it's not illegal to pose with like a brand of alcohol.
It
Mhm.
was them. I don't want to say building a case. There was no indictments at our high school, but it
It
was
was a scare tactic.
it was
Yeah.
a scare tactic, and they would always throw sports and walking at graduation. That was the big thing at my high
Yeah.
school. You're not walking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
okay.
great.
So
Sounds like a
that-
plan.
But as
you
long
know?
as I still graduate,
Yeah,
I'm
you're not-
okay.
You're
No,
not walking.
you're disappointing the parents.
No.
That's who you by not walking. That's who you're disappointing.
Yeah,
so,
like,
you really want to do that to mom and dad?
We're taking away your National Honor Society sash.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was at his graduation, like the ceremony, and he was very drunk,
Mm.
and the cops came and escorted him out.
Oh my God.
And then, yeah, it was horrific for his parents. I remember them telling
course.
me the story, but he still had his graduation party afterwards.
He's
And he-
still there.
Yeah, and he had family fly in from like Florida.
Ah, yeah.
You can't just cancel it.
Yeah,
They
you
already
can't.
got those Bunsen burners heating up that potato
But
salad.
the day
Right.
is like centered around the fact we're so proud of you.
Yeah.
And you just got escorted out in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the 90s were an interesting time. You know, they were, they were a damaging time. No.
Did,
I mean, it was tough being a kid in that time because there were things that were, you could, for the first time ever, instantly message someone that you liked.
Right.
So you weren't writing letters. You weren't like.
Right.
I mean, you could still, phones have been around for a long time, but it was different, and you were shooting your shot, and there was a chance that you were not gonna succeed, and
Yeah.
you were gonna get turned down, and it was a humbling and humiliating time to grow up.
well, there was a chance that you were in a chat room not talking to who you think you're
Of
talking
the
to.
other
course,
thing.
Dating
of
and
course.
catfishing. It's also like the beginning of these like parasocial relationships. Like you're saying, if you message someone on AIM and they don't respond, you're still seeing them at school
Mhm.
the next day. Then it's like this awkward, like your virtual identity and like the
Mhm.
real identity. And that
Yeah.
was really the kickoff of that.
Right.
You're like, hey, why didn't you respond? Or like, hey, I saw your away message. Like,
Right.
what does that mean?
I was
Yeah,
just gonna say,
right,
let me
like-
bust out the most emo away message.
And it was
We
a
had
bit-
to just figure it out.
It was
Yeah.
a very
You know,
cryptic time, right?
Yeah.
Very cryptic. People were trying to send messages in a cryptic way through away messages, through profile initials and links.
Right.
and-
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I was telling Anthony, the girls, we would all rank like our best friends to like our favorite to our least favorite at the end of our AIM profile.
Yeah.
So it would be
buddy
like-
profile,
Hurt, right.
yeah.
Before
That's
before
brutal.
MySpace.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like we're gonna rank the people in our lives.
Well,
Right.
It was like encouraged to making a top 8 on MySpace. Is
Yeah.
encouraging that. Like,
Yep.
what's
Put
it
your
be-
friends from favorite to least favorite and see.
And
you
it
know
would
what I mean?
change, which means
Right,
something
right.
happened.
There was a fight between so and so, or this
And
person went
everybody
down
could
a
see it.
rank.
It was
Of
for
course.
everybody to see.
Yep.
Why?
It's
For
like
everybody to
you
see.
you want to engage with these websites because you want to see like, oh shit, like I just got moved down to slot 7. Like,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
actually really
What did I
crazy.
It is
do?
crazy. Yeah.
Well, I asked her the other
What
night.
did I do?
I said, would you rather be the 8th or not in at all?
8th all day.
Yeah.
I'd rather not even be in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to handle it.
See, I'm too like I would rather at least be shown my face to be seen on a top 8 than not at all.
I know, but 8th, it's like there's 7 other people that I view as more valuable
Right.
to my life than you.
Right.
It's just like a weird thing to rank people in general.
Re-
But I think people didn't know how to act with like the internet and social media. Like,
Remember there were those apps, it was like Rate Me? And you
Yeah.
would put your picture up. I'm getting like
Rate.
Rate. T.
Rate.
T.
T.
Tip of the tongue, teeth and the lips. It was, yeah, you would go on and rank, or there's also Rate My Teacher. That's
Rate
still
my
a thing.
professors, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Rate
is
my
still
poop.
a thing.
I remember that one.
Rate My Poop, yeah.
I
It's
remember
a good one.
I remember I was in a class and this was like when I got out to LA, we were taking classes there. And this particular class, there was like one actor in our program. Everyone else was like in marketing, PR, film, one of those. There was like one actor, and he had like a specific professor assigned to him, and his professor like made him get in front of like the class of like 50 kids, and he said, I want everyone to like write down like what you see when you see this person. Like this kid stood in front of the class, and everyone had to write down what their view on him. And I just remember thinking, first I was thinking, how many O's in loser? And then the second thing was, I would never be able to do this.
No.
That's how I felt back then. Like I was like, I would rather just drop out of school than be evaluated like this, like so publicly and ruthlessly, because it was just based on appearance, because he was trying to figure out what kind of persona he was as an actor and those types of things. But to me, I'll never forget that. It was just so such a vulnerable position to put yourself in. But nowadays with Instagram and all these things, kids from middle school on are getting that level of evaluation and rating and all of that.
Oh, it's terrifying. Yeah.
Which poses the question, having a kid, how do you view that? Like moving forward, if your daughter wants to, wants an Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever version of that thing we have, is she have to wait to a certain time or?
Yeah, I mean, and that's where, it was obviously our parents didn't have to deal with that at all, so they didn't really know how to guide us. So for us, like, we've got to be the ones to, guide, and it's difficult. I mean, it's got to be like we haven't breached that at all.
Thank God.
You still have a window of time, I'd say, but it's inevitable in this
It's coming.
day and age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
It'll be something that makes Instagram look archaic, I'm sure, 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I'm already a hologram. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
My consciousness is already uploaded.
Well, and that's the thing.
Metaverse.
Like, I'm just going to, she's just going to, all of a sudden, it's just going to happen.
Yeah. Well, already I noticed she's like starting to like, what she's watching on YouTube is like becoming more and more like older. Like
the algorithm will get you.
Yeah.
There's no supervision. I don't care if you think there
like,
is.
Slime videos, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Like it starts with a slime video, and then before you know it,
great. Thank you.
She's watching, a bar stool video.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't wait for all those days.
It's starting younger and younger, I feel like.
Right, and you just have to do your best to like protect them from what's out there, which is everything. But oh my God, I mean, I had access to things that were so bad. Yeah. I mean, early on, and I mean
E-bounds world.
Like today, for example, it's, a day off from school, for kids. And if I was at somebody's house where their parents had to work and we had the internet,
forget it.
Right.
The best day ever.
Right.
Yeah.
The things that we were doing on there, I mean, then the things that you're learning about that you're too young to learn, like, and it's just like, it's all there.
Well, the only difference now, you thought it was instant back then.
Yeah.
Now it's instant.
Yep.
Yeah. We have it right in our pockets at all times.
Yep. It's a fake reality. It's fake perception, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole thing with social media?
Right.
Everyone's kind of pretending, or not pretending, but they're only showing you their best. Nobody shows you their worst.
Yeah, but then it becomes like your kind of identity, where it's like, oh wait, I'm getting this type of response for this type of stuff. Then I guess this is who I am, and that becomes very
the line gets blurred.
Dangerous.
The line gets blurred, and being from New England, we don't even really know that culture. He lived in LA for 10 years.
I know, but it's everywhere. It's like these filters and all these things, even the filters on videos now, where it's like you can filter moving objects completely. I just saw today, someone, I don't know if Kendall Jenner like sold her likeness, or someone just made this, but it's completely AI version of Kendall Jenner saying, hey guys, what's up? It's Lindsay or whatever. And it's her voice and everything. It's not her.
Yeah.
It's very scary, the deep fakes and
the
repercussions that has if like there's a deep fake made of like, I don't know, Kim Jong-un saying like, I'm going to bomb everyone or whatever the hell it is. It's just like the info wars. You don't know what actually is reality and what's not.
Well, there's no laws around them as of right now.
With AI,
like protecting your likeness,
Right.
So your voice, your face. I always wondered, like, when it came to like a criminal charge, like let's say I was on trial for murder and they bring in evidence of my voice recording, like let's say a wiretap, who's to dispute whether or not that's a real wiretap with AI now?
I don't know.
Jack.
Now we're getting into legal proceedings. We've gone off the rails.
I have my lawyer on the phone, and
You don't know. You don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I think is going to happen is reality is going to keep being blurred. You can't deny like what nature is, but I just think like I think you'll always be able to go into the woods and okay, this is what's real. But I think the way you operate your day-to-day life, when you have like you'll have a little earpiece or something on your temple, and then it's like, oh, like your phone is right here. Your phone is like everywhere right there. Like, let me pull this up. Oh, I'm going to watch a video while I hang out. And
it's an episode of Black Mirror.
I mean, technology, it goes so quick that it's like, when you ask me about, my kid, it's like the whole idea that it's going too quick that I'm not going to be able to keep up with it.
Can't.
Like you're saying, like,
Do you know where it started for us? A thing called LimeWire.
Remember
the LimeWire days?
Huzzah.
I know.
Napster.
I know, but the culture and the
Fair
time, the
Share, Morpheus.
era
my
of
God.
LimeWire, file sharing. What a time to be
Right.
alive.
Of course, the Napster.
Burning your own CDs was like mind blowing to me.
Mhm.
The fact that like you can just get any song you want at any time and then get it downloaded.
Well, it wasn't that simple.
No,
It wasn't that simple.
I'm saying nowadays.
Nowadays,
that we
yeah.
take that for granted, but back then, I remember being like, "Oh my god, I can like burn my own CD. Like I don't have to go buy this CD.
Right.
I can put like
But I do
Jagged
have to-
Edge on a CD.
I do have to listen to Bill Clinton say that it wasn't his.
Yeah.
He did not have sexual relations.
Every now
Remember
and
at the
then,
beginning
my
of all
fellow
the
Americans.
songs?
Yeah.
That thing would go over like the tape masters thing.
Yeah.
It's like if we like it, we leak it. Don't. My favorite one is like, don't worry about how we got it. Just know that we've got it. It's like
I
these,
would do
like,
anything to
hackers.
hear a song right now with that
Yeah.
beginning, like a Lil Wayne mixtape, and it, you know what I mean?
And just to get like 10 tracks is gonna take you like the day. It's like don't touch don't touch the desktop. Like don't shut it off. It's like you see that paper just going into the folder. 2%. An hour later, 5%.
And then you'd come home and something would have happened.
Yeah.
Like your mom made a
cat
phone
unplugged
call.
it.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work the rest of the day.
Those tiny little desktop speakers you'd have with the little knob, and
Yeah, I used
they'll
to
always
bring it
be
on the
blown
bus.
out.
I brought those on the bus. I would hook it up to my Walkman or my iPod, and I would
She would
play the music for the bus.
In the
It was
back
an
of the
important
bus.
job.
those plugged
Very
into the Walkman.
Hmm
Interesting.
Do you remember-
You would just hold them.
I would hold them up and for everyone to listen to.
You were the coolest kid.
I was the
on the
coolest
bus.
kid on the bus.
And
what's
And
on the
what
bus?
songs?
I mean, it depended on what
The bus would
what
feel on that
genre,
day.
yeah, what genre, the morning, you know what I mean, versus the afternoon. Like we weren't doing Freak a Leak in the morning, but
The bus.
the bus,
Just the bus.
yeah.
In the 90s, and that was a tough place. It was very lawless.
A lot
very
of
lawless
bullying.
place
It's a
on
good
the,
word.
on the yellow
It was
bus.
prison. It was prison.
Yeah.
You're on the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the abuse that I took on the bus. Getting, whaled in the head with a basketball. Yeah, that happened, to
Every day.
right.
Yeah.
Kids all over the country.
Especially
I wasn't
deep,
alone.
deep in the back is where like
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't even talk about the things. We want to have a cleaner podcast. I
Right.
can't even believe the things that were
like
going
midway.
on.
It's
The
like
8th graders.
yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about, being
Yeah.
in the 7th grade, like
that-
the 8th graders and what they were doing.
And
Like,
buses they had seats all the way
Right.
going all the way to the back, but then in the very back on the right you had the single seat.
Yeah. The one
It's just
Right.
like why would you
Why was
choose
it
that
always
seat?
like a single?
the one person, and it was
Bully
always like a
seat.
person who had been held back
yeah. Yeah. it was-
a year or two, and that they are the owner of that seat. You can't sit there, so,
Yeah.
And God knows what they're going home to.
Jimmy's
like one of those
sitting
people.
there. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Their dad usually beat the shit out of them.
And then they beat the shit out of Jack with a backpack.
Yep.
Right. Bullying is a full circle thing.
It is.
And the bus driver doesn't care. He's
No.
speeding, not putting
He's
his blinker
drunk.
on. He's
Blowing
drunk.
over bumps. Like literally, I remember we would all sit and wait for one bump.
You got airborne.
And you
Yeah,
were
that's
airborne,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Ass hitting the ceiling.
No seatbelts.
No.
No.
You're always taught at school, make sure you're always wearing your seatbelt. And it's like, all right, school's over. Get into this vehicle, no seatbelts. It's like,
Yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
biggest vehicle ever, and we're going 90 miles an hour down back roads.
Yeah, because he's got something to do. He's got something to make.
I used to drive an ice cream truck. I don't know if Anthony mentioned it, but there was
Yes.
no seatbelt on that either. And it was also like these trucks were old. So there's like no power steering. You're in this like tiny seat where you're making a sharp turn. You're like falling like out of the truck as you're driving. There's like a button that just says gumball. It's like,
Gumball.
it's like, what is this going to do? It's like a bunch of gumballs going to like fall from the sky. And like my particular truck like wouldn't go in reverse. And I remember like we do a lot of like graduation parties or birthday parties. And I pulled into this long driveway in Sudbury and I can't go in reverse. So I'm like, I pull in. I was like, shit. And then I call. I was like, John, like, I don't know how to get out of this like driveway. My truck doesn't go in reverse. He's like, why did you get yourself in a position when you need to use reverse? I was like, do you hear yourself? This isn't even street legal. I can't go reverse. He's like, hit gumball. I was like, oh. No. They had to like push me out constantly. It was like so degrading. There was another time I had this different truck that was like awful. Like the steering was so bad. It was like getting like using an old school like bucket in a well, like to like, it just felt like you needed to have like extra strength to even move this thing. And I was going, flying down a road in Maynard and I like fell off the side of the road and my truck actually like flipped onto its side and like a bunch of neighbors saw it and they like ran out because it's like my music and a bunch of neighbors run out and I kid you not, one of the fathers he's like, can I get like 2 crunch bars? At this point, like the window to my truck is like 10 feet up in the air because I'm sideways in like this like side of a mountain. He's like, hey, 2 crunch bars. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm like trekking a mountain to get to the freezers.
Did you have a situation in the ice cream truck where you were buying alcohol with a fake ID and you got caught in the act?
That was awful. We went through like a 40 hands phase where it's like you're buying the 40s and taping them to your hands. And I had a fake ID at this point, and I think I was the only one in my group of friends that had one. We're all like maybe like 18 or 19. And so I thought, I'll just stop at Russell's in Maynard liquor store before at the end of my shift. I'm just going to buy alcohol underage in my ice cream truck. So like I pull up like in the ice cream truck and then I go in there and like get the 40s and everything. And then the clerk is like, I was using my older brother's license. So it's like, that was the license as my fake. And the clerk's like, this isn't you.
Who has blue eyes, by the way?
Well, you guys both look like people that could have passed for 30 at 18. So
he's like, this isn't you. I was like, yeah, it is. Like, you're at the point now where you can't be like, no, it's not. Like, it's like, you had to own it. I was like, yeah, it is. I had like a box of 12 40s. And he's like, all right, well, we're just going to call the police and they'll come over and like check out the ID. The police station is next door to Russell's. I was like, why did I pick this?
Right there.
It's literally right there. And I was like, you know what? Just forget it. I don't need these. Like, I'm running late. He's like, no. Like, they'll be right over. And I'm like standing there, like stuck. I'm like shitting my pants. I'm like, I'm going to get arrested in an ice cream truck. Like, this is horrible. This is horrible. And then the guy shows up and then I give him the ID and then he scans the license and it goes through. It's a real Massachusetts license. And he's like, all right, you're all set. And I was like,
oh my God.
Like, let's get 2 bottles of Andre too to celebrate this.
Like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. Yeah.
I got away with it, but I was like, I never want to be in this position again.
Jeez.
Did you have any jobs in high school that were that crazy?
Yeah,
jobs you didn't care about, I guess you could say.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everyone I've ever had.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, no, I mean, but I worked at a golf course.
Right.
Oh, it was like Caddyshack.
No.
So, I mean, just on Mondays and Tuesdays, we did outings where they would buy alcohol and it was just free. And so at the end of the day, there was free alcohol. So I was going home with, 4 or 5 beers, out of these and, a roach.
Right.
So that's it was wild.
For,
16, 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like, and I get access to a golf cart and no supervision. Yeah, it was a joke.
Well, that was the highest priority.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Right. At that age, that's your highest priority. Especially, I would say it's senior summer, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get a job where obviously I make money, no supervision, and it's revolved around binge drinking.
Yep.
And it's not even like I just needed to consume the alcohol. It's like I need to be playing Beirut. I need to be like doing some grandiose activity around it. I used to work at Charter Oak very briefly, and two of my friends that worked there, these two girls, they would be working in like the snack bar type area, just like it's like beer, wine, and like finger foods and everything. They used to like close the window that like you can see in and be doing keg stands. It's like, why isn't just like having a cup of beer on the side, which is already like absolutely unacceptable? Why isn't that enough for you? You're closing the window as a line of like bougie members waiting. You're doing keg stands.
The members
great.
would give us alcohol.
I remember you coming home with like duffel bags full of beer, and I remember like going into your closet and finding like the warm beer and being like, Jack, is drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. At night, warm beer.
Yeah.
Jack has been drinking.
Yeah.
Were any of you guys like nervous to get drunk for the first time?
No, absolutely not. I was like ready.
For it?
Yeah, I was so ready. The movie 13 had a huge impact on my life. And it just made me not afraid of anything, which is a huge problem. So no, I wasn't scared at all. And
Well, that's the thing.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah. What about you? Were you guys nervous?
I was very nervous that the first time I'd get drunk, I would tell everyone I was gay. Because it's like you hear people being like, "Oh, I was like, am I gonna like have like one Bud Light and come out to everyone at this house? I was scared, like 'cause it was a real thing, because it's like you've heard of people being drunk, but it's like you don't know what that is or like how you're gonna react to that. So I was very nervous about that. Yeah. And the first few times I drank, like when you drink and when you're nervous, you get drunk like really, really quickly if you're not in like a stable, relaxed state. So I remember like the first parties I went to, I was like puking everywhere after 2 beers because I was like jittery and nervous about the feeling, and it was amplifying all of it.
Well, those were the days of, obviously not pacing yourself or mixing a water in, but those were the days of Rubinoff, UV blue in a Gatorade bottle, and it was just disgusting.
Anything you can
get
your
blacking
hands on.
I'm blacking out no matter what.
In a field somewhere, and you told your parents you're sleeping somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Oh, the deception! The deception of those days.
No, it's
sleeping.
It's like I think about being a parent potentially, and like the stress that must cause when your kid is going out to a party or like getting picked up from a friend, and it's like you don't know where they're actually going, and you don't know about all of the variables. At least nowadays you have Ubers. Yeah. But back in the day, it's like, I hope someone's not drunk that's at the wheel. And
yeah.
Well, now I think we too, like we've done it all. So I think I'm going to be very aware of my kid. Like if they lie to me, but I think every parent does that.
Every parent does it. And I think like as the years go by, you're more and more like distanced from that, and you're more like looking at through their lens, like, oh shit, like I don't even want my daughter having 1 beer, and like, or like I don't know where they're gonna go to some house party or some college or whatever.
And everybody has that one friend whose parents don't give a shit.
Oh yeah,
the cool house, but it's actually not the cool house.
It's a dangerous house. It's a dangerous house.
And when you grow up and realize that, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's like you want the house to be empty because the parents are away, not the parents like
are drinking
allowing that. Part of the fun is that like you're getting the house while the parents are gone. It's becoming your house.
Right. Yeah. I don't need your mom in a kimono coming out with a bottle of vodka. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Telling us like, who wants another shot?
Right. Because that's a whole different level of horror.
That's fucked up. Like you shouldn't. And this is a real story. I mean, this really happened.
Right.
I'm not pulling a rabbit.
I feel like you dealt with that more than I did.
Yeah.
Like
there were a lot of parents that, why was I always around that? You know?
Well, it's always an option. Why? There's nothing going on. We're going to the fuck off house.
Yeah, true.
Do you want to go now?
Yeah.
yeah. We had it.
It loses its luster. Like part of the excitement is it's like it's not readily available. Where it's like, oh my god, this person's like house is available on this random Saturday. But if it's like a given, it becomes something where you're like, whatever. It's not as like cool. It becomes kind of sad, like you were saying. We're like, the mom's drunk again. Like on the couch.
Now I look back and I'm like, ugh, I wonder where they're at in life.
Let's go around the room. What were your AIM screen names?
I think my first one was Speedboat 9, and then it was Jetpack 105.
No, that was one of those was mine.
Nope. I think I was
No.
Nope.
Okay.
swagger jacking. Obviously, everyone knows speedboats and jetpacks are just the epitome of cool technology. Speedboat 9 and jetpack 105. Maybe you did like jetpack like 95 or something. And then I think I ultimately settled on D'Amico Dog. It was Steve Dog and then D'Amico Dog with 2 G's. And then I remember one time, remember how you could like categorize like your buddy list in like, you could be like school, dance team or whatever that is. I remember I renamed mine because it was D'Amico Dog. I renamed it like Doggy Style. And like I didn't think anything of it. My mom saw it, she's like, change that right now to missionary. No, she got very upset.
Mine was well, I had a million of them, but my primary one was, I was telling her the other night, it's actually embarrassing. It was Lil Franchise. I was such a fan of Steve Francis, and I even think in like recreation town basketball, like the older kids would call him Stevie Franchise. So I'm like, all right, I'm Lil Franchise.
You and our other brother both stole that from me because his current names, I don't even know what it's on.
La Franchisa.
But that's on Insta, right? He's La Franchisa. You were going Lil Franchise. I was like, I'm Steve. It's like the nickname was given to me because of my name. It's like if someone's like, oh, we call him Jack Frost. And then Maura's like, no, I'm Maura Frost. And takes the name.
So my first one, Jackass Mandingo.
That all fit.
Any
It was
numbers?
long.
Any
Yeah, I remember
numbers?
that.
No numbers on that
I
one.
remember
Just
that.
Jackass Mandingo. Second one was Air Jack T-Mac 3481.
You got your
So
priorities straight
again,
in that
right,
one,
we
yeah.
more with the basketball. Mine was T-Mac. 34 was Paul Pierce. 8 was Antoine Walker. 1 was Tracy McGrady. I'm still running with the Air Jack. The Air Jack is still something I'm running with.
Yep, I know. It's like your email address still.
No. It's my Instagram.
Okay.
His Air Jackness.
At his Air Jackness.
Yeah.
We'll
If
put
you
it
wanna
in the
follow,
description in the bio.
Yeah. Link in the bio. Mine was Raggy2468. That was my first one when I was really little, and then because my mom called me a ragamuffin, and then the second one was Chickababy146.
But was it like lowercase, uppercase, lowercase?
Nope,
uppercase?
but I was actually thinking about that the other night, how much effort it was to type out things like that. Like I would type that in my away message or my profile up and down, like cap lock, uncap lock, cap lock. It was effort.
It was a different language back then.
And a rainbow. So I would change each letter to a different color of the rainbow.
It's like a full-time job.
It
just to
was a
make one of
full-time
those.
job.
And it's also like assault on the eyes. It's like to read something like that.
Yeah.
But we all thought that just looked the best.
Yeah.
What were some of like the common AIM like prefixes? You see like Lil and like baby. Like what else?
Yeah.
Was there?
I have a friend. His screen name was Meth Baby 666.
Meth.
Yeah.
Baby?
Yeah.
What was the connotation of meth?
Shout out to my best friend's boyfriend.
Was her name Crystal? What is meth? What is meth though?
Meth Baby. He just
is it like Method Man?
Nope, just
No.
Meth Baby.
Methamphetamine.
Like
Yeah.
as if he was like a pregnancy of a
Correct.
something.
Yeah. And his
Like-
dad's a correctional officer, so he definitely was not a meth baby. But
It's like crack baby, but meth.
yeah. Yep.
I don't remember, let's see.
Or
I remember all of my best friend's screen names.
Or
too.
you'd always have the person who's had like a new screen name like every few months. Hey, I'm
Mhm.
actually like Lil
Change
Baby Mama
Yeah,
6489 now.
Poppin' Lip Gloss 425.
I feel like I always appreciated the clever, creative ones though.
Yeah. So I had a friend and she came up with, oh shit, it's Brit. And I thought that was like revolutionary. So
I feel like I saw that
I was
around
like,
back
I
then.
had to have it. So I did, oh shit, it's Maura. And it didn't have the same effect at all.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
Stop
like,
biting.
ooh.
You need to find a rhyme with Maura for it. Like,
There was nothing.
More of the Explorer.
That became my MySpace name. Maura the Explorer. Like my backslash was like www.myspace.com/Maura the Explorer.
You could
And
set
then I also-
music.
Yes.
during in the profile.
Oh,
It was
of
like,
course.
I'm sure,
You would-
like, My Chemical Romance.
Yes,
And like,
yeah. Taking
all
You
that
Back
kind of-
Sunday.
you'd
The
set-
second you came onto my page, and I also
Huh?
learned how to code at a very young age for MySpace. Like I knew how to do backgrounds and just, I mean, that's why I think so many kids our age went in to do that as a profession, like coding, and now they're all making.
It's
millions
actually
of
true.
dollars.
Like making those HTML websites,
Yeah.
which they're a bitch to make.
They are.
It's very difficult and tedious to do. But I think nowadays, unless you're going into an IT or web development field, you're not really going to like dive deep into like the guts of a website. But that was all kind of like what we did
Yeah.
in classes.
Jack, you went to an all boys school or all male school by the
I
time high
did.
school came around?
Yep, I did.
Did you? I'm sure it was. I don't want to say mainly athletics there. You had a drama department there, right?
Yeah,
Did anybody
There-
else do drama in high school?
I love how you pointed him.
Well, because
Do drama?
I
because
caused it. I don't know if I did it.
no,
Yeah, I did. I did High School Musical.
yeah, they had a senior play. I went to it. He was in the High School Musical.
Jack loved plays. He was. In a
I
lot of
did, but I
plays.
didn't do
You
any
were in plays,
Not in high school.
just so
in
you just volunteered to be in those.
No, 7th and 8th grade I did them. I
Wh-
did.
which
You
ones?
know.
He loved plays.
So what did we do? We did first one we did was The Emperor's New Clothes, where you had somebody who was in the 8th grade in their underwear on stage, which I don't think would fly today.
New
you know.
clothes or no clothes?
Well, so the story is The Emperor's New Clothes, and the story is that he comes out naked in the story, in the children's story. But
That
somehow,
Epstein production.
right, exactly. Somehow, right. And then the second one was Cinderella, so that was a little bit better. The second one, I didn't have my lines
She
down
was
at all.
sweeping the house naked. I don't know why that was. That
Yeah,
was in
yeah,
the
there was
original
more
script,
nudity.
but
I don't know how they got away with it.
it was an
but
all
we,
nude evil stepsister.
Yep.
You only had a line or two in High School Musical, right? You were kind
Yeah,
of
but I don't do coke anymore. No, yeah, I just my one line was I don't even remember. The context was like we were trying to motivate Troy, the main the Zac Efron character, to like. I'm forgetting. It's like what is he in High School Musical about? Is he trying to be a basketball star or trying to be in a musical?
He's a basketball
Yes.
player who wants to be in a musical, but his
Okay,
father's
okay.
pushing him into basketball.
Okay, so
I
like
think.
every movie.
I heard.
Okay, so I think his basketball team in this scene is like trying to tell him like forget about theater and just keep doing basketball. And my line, it was like the equivalent of yelling like, "Do it for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar," but my line was like, "Thunderclap Hap Haddon," which was supposed to be like some. Is that a real person? It's
I
not.
don't know.
I have
Hap
no idea.
Haddon?
No,
No, I think maybe from the 30s. Like I don't know.
I feel like it was just like made up, but that was my one line.
That was the best player in the 30s.
Hap Haddon.
Yeah, right.
Hap Haddon for 3.
Thunderclap Hap Haddon. And then we had like a whole scene where we had to like be choreographing, like dribbling the ball and everything. It was actually a lot of work. And I remember I had a scene where I had to like flip a girl like over my like shoulder. And I was like, I can't be doing this. It was actually so meta though, because the people that did this senior musical, it was like 75% of people that don't do theater. So it was like a lot of athletes.
That'd be
and kids.
fun.
It was exactly what the musical was about.
Yeah.
And we one of the woman that like did the chorus and she was the orchestrator.
Yeah.
The janitor. Now the orchestra, the woman, the
composer?
conductor. She took it like very seriously, and of course, like we would just be like joking around all the time. Remember one time we were all like supposed to be singing one of the songs, but we changed the lyrics. And we're like, "Wildcats everywhere, wave your dicks up in the air." God!
Cut this off.
It was actually it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I
I
remember
wish-
like running out. Like the first scene was like the whole basketball team like ran out from outside the auditorium like through the audience, and it was like it's exhilarating. It was a huge crowd of people.
I don't want to
Yeah.
say it's kind of like sports in a way, but you're on a stage on both stages.
Well, so at the all boys school, what they would try to do with the drama club is they would, the all girls school, we've got some girl characters, that are gonna, and there's tryouts happening there, and that's how they would entice, but we had like a spring, big thing that they would do every year where like, people would get involved. It was like a spring fling or something or whatever. And it was a big deal, you know, and I never went to it, right? You know, never went to it or saw it
Can't
or
be that big
anything,
of a
but
deal.
hey,
But,
you know, a lot of people enjoyed it.
If
Yeah.
you could have been in any musical then or today, what would it be?
I mean, my go-to, we were talking about this
I know
last
mine.
night with, you know, just talking, you know, was West Side Story.
Yeah,
And it's,
classic.
you know, oh yeah.
Grease,
Like,
100% for me.
Grease
Yeah.
also. I wouldn't want to be the lead, but I'd want to be
Oh yeah, I could
maybe
lead it.
Kinnicky. Kinnicky's almost a lead.
Yeah,
you know,
you got a
Kinnicky's-
Kinnicky quality.
Yeah. Well, I smoked enough cigarettes in my
Yeah,
day.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you
Jeff.
guys like had a dance, this would be like the first time theoretically that you'd be like around girls at all.
No, and I'd like to say that St. John's dances were like I wasn't even allowed to go to St.
Yeah,
John's
they
dances.
were. Yeah, they were.
It
kind
was
of,
raunchy
Yeah.
because that's where all the boys that
It's like prison.
yeah, exactly. So it's like they had the girl. Anyone could go to a St. John's dance.
Any girls.
Any girl could go.
It was open to the public.
It was open to the public.
No
That's
boys,
crazy.
no boys from any other schools could come.
Yeah.
Only guys from St. John's. So, and they would use it as like a tactic for like,
Mhm.
you know, getting, you know, 8th graders or whatever. And you know what the ratio of girls to boys is at one of these dances? There were 1,200 people and only, you know, 200 of them were, you know, St. John's boys. And so
Mhm.
there were 1,000 girls here for you all to, like,
That's
great.
how they recruit people
Yeah.
to the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that
So
true?
they
Was there
were,
a
they were
good
raunchy
ratio?
places, huh?
There was a good ratio, I think.
Yeah, at the dances, yeah, they were.
At the dances once a year.
No, I mean, we had them like what, like maybe,
Quarterly?
yeah, probably like once every couple of months.
Oh, I was
And,
gonna
you know, the
ask.
signs would go up, and it would be up. Looks
St.
like,
John's
yeah, it's
dance.
gonna get wild on Friday night, you know. And this is like a, you know, public, like a Catholic school. I
Right.
mean, you know, like
And it did get wild.
right. And then eventually they didn't have the lights off in the gym anymore. Like it
Oh,
became
jeez.
Yeah.
because again, things I can't talk about, you know,
Things
on
were
camera.
happening.
You went
Yeah.
to a,
Horrible.
So from then on out, there were dances just with lights on.
Yeah, yeah, because or they were like dim lights, but yeah, it was because people
Little
were.
John and the East Side Boys doesn't
Yep.
quite hit as hard with the lights on. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I feel like those songs back then though were all like built around like
Yeah.
adolescent grinding.
Yeah.
Just get low.
Yeah.
low. It's
Yeah.
like
Dirty.
very directional. of,
It
like, what
was,
they-
yeah.
You weren't in a yeah. I mean, yeah, Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
You know,
Dirty.
What a time.
that was yeah.
Everything's
really
full
was.
circle. MTV. What a time.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Also,
low, get low.
cha-cha slide. I always feel like that's
We
one of
didn't
the-
do that.
I
The
sing that
cha-cha
all the
slide
time.
wasn't happening at the St. John's dances.
I sing that song to myself.
I remember we were at a wedding and there was someone at the wedding where it's like the cha-cha slides
I know
like,
what you're gonna say.
slide to the left, slide to the right, crisscross, and then one of them it's like hands on your knees, hands on your knees, and this person at the wedding was just like that was her positioning for hands on your knees. I guess it's like what is
Yeah,
hands
you're
on your
supposed
knees?
to do
It-
that.
They're
it's like
just
something-
dance. You're supposed to keep moving the whole
Yeah, it's
time.
like, hands on your knees, hands on your
You know what I always
Keep
wondered?
going.
Because that song, it's like pretty much self-explanatory. He's giving you directions,
Mhm.
but there's a part in the song where he goes, Charlie Brown. And I'm like,
I don't know what to do.
yeah,
That's,
right.
that's another.
What is that?
Freestyle.
Yeah, it could be a freestyle type of.
Or
thing.
maybe it's not. Maybe go punt the football and miss or something.
Actually, I think that's actually what it is. It's like a variation like the Running Man, but like you're running up and like pretending to kick a football but missing.
Turn it up.
Right. All those like line dances, the chicken dance. What's
Yeah.
the
Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe.
So how did it work with like prom at your school? Was it wait? This is a high school, right?
yeah.
So
So they just like they had a place where, you know, they rented out the you know, like a hotel ballroom or whatever, and then, you know, I mean, guys brought their own prom dates. You know, like it wasn't like they were busing girls in for the prom.
Your school's
but-
in the area too, right? All girls schools not too far away.
Yeah.
Notre Dame,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Wasn't
Notre
that your,
Dame.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that was like the sister school. St. John's in Shrewsbury is the school.
and that's
Um,
still all boys.
Yep.
Mhm.
Still all boys.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's a, you know, yeah, they did recruit a lot for sports, but you know, yeah, they recruited for
Did you ever have talent shows? Anybody?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yep.
Ever enter them?
yes.
No.
What was your talent?
Yes. So I played in a band.
Oh,
Oh my
Um,
God.
I did,
yeah.
yeah, we did Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yes.
Nice.
That was the
Um,
coolest I ever thought you were. Like, even now. Like, that was the cool. And I remember I just remember seeing it and being like, wow. Like, my brother's playing Nirvana.
My
in front of
brother's
the
in
school.
Nirvana.
My
Yeah.
brother's in Nirvana. My brother is Kurt Cobain.
It's Chris
And-
Novoselic.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're a
he's.
bassist, right?
Yeah.
I remember you were like popular for like a week after that.
Yep.
Like
You got
girls
moved
were
from
giving.
the 8th position to the
Yeah.
4th.
Oh,
on
I
the
was. Yeah, I
stage.
was
he was
very
getting
middle.
screen names like left and right
Really?
from
Oh, yeah.
girls,
You made the
so
away
yeah.
message that
Yeah,
ever
the
happened
girls were
when-
dancing all in front. I was like, wow, I'm a rock star now.
Yeah.
We didn't win the talent show because the kids before us did Nib by Black
Oh,
Sabbath. So if you know that
right.
song, it's like, I don't know why we were because we were okay.
I wish I
but
could
like
say
we
names.
shouldn't have closed out. They should
No,
have.
that yeah.
The song opens with a bass solo.
I know.
And then
And
I'm
he
doing
rocked
dun dun
my
dun dun
world, yeah.
dun 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 dun, and then and the kid before does a bass solo before they start.
Incredibly too, might I add. He was
Yeah.
really good. He was really good.
Really?
I remember listening to Black Sabbath from there on out. Too. I
Yes.
was like he
Same here.
that night
that
like,
was the thing. It was
that
like,
night changed the course of like my music, like who I was listening to. Like I started listening to
Yeah.
Nirvana, Black Sabbath, like
So he deserved to win. Then.
yeah.
yeah, they deserve to win. Totally.
I always remember hearing this story. Our mother used to tell us. So my mom's sister, our aunt, said she entered a talent show when they were in like middle school. Do you remember what her talent was?
Yeah.
What was it?
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Her talent was this.
She's double jointed, and that's all she knew
That's
how
all
to do.
she
By the way,
did.
I can do it too, but
Did
She-
she get
You're
up
not
on
gonna
the
go on
stage?
stage?
She
and do
went up
that?
on stage and,
And
did
it was just quiet, no noise, just that.
I think it was like, okay, thank you. And up next.
No, she's still there. Legend has it.
Right.
Legend has it. If you-
Ooh.
Yeah, our mom
Finger
can
tricks.
do this really scary thing where and she can do it so well. She used to scare the shit out of us
Yeah.
when we were kids because she can go like that.
Very scary.
And
that
it-
looked good.
And it looks like she's taking her finger off. And I remember
Mhm.
being a little kid and being so
Frightened.
scared of it.
You remember when people used to make like blood with their fingers?
Yeah,
Mm.
I can do
Is
it.
that
A
tough
group of like
blood?
10 white kids throwing it up.
Yep, in like disposable camera pictures
Mm.
Do you know
on a field trip.
Do you know tech decks are back in style?
Well, they
Yeah.
are.
The kids have them at school.
Yeah, Lucy asked for some for Christmas last year.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you want to, things are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Things are coming back.
It's cyclical. It's like it's always been like that with fashion, but now it's like with toys and stuff. We're like, let's give this a shot again. Like,
Right.
we still got some left over in the warehouse. Let's push this again.
What's one thing you wouldn't want to see come back as a toy? What's one toy you could like? No, never again.
The skip it.
I was just going to say that was hitting your
the
ankles, right?
murderous
Yeah.
toy.
That's just like a workout
Yeah.
thing where it's like you use that at like a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
pet
Kids
rocks.
are out like doing the 1,000
Yeah, I feel like
to skip it.
Our parents' generation was so stupid when it came to toys. Not like they were stupid, but
Pet
the actual
rock.
toys they put out.
Yeah.
Pet
Chia
Rock,
Pet.
Chia Pets.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Furbies,
Yeah.
Bop It.
Tamagotchi. You
Yeah.
know, those like,
Those
you know.
are back too.
Those are back.
Mhm.
But are they
Back.
just as like elementary?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a simple little creature that can poop and eat.
What was the other thing called? Tamagotchi and Cheat?
I had a Digimon. The Digimon.
Gigapet?
Gigapet.
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 Yeah.
Then there also was like a Pikachu one that would like
yeah.
I had that
he
one.
You have to,
had
like,
the Pikachu one.
you would shake it all the time.
Yep.
You like feed it. It was a job. I
Yeah,
remember my
and
mom
then it
getting
would
mad
die.
at me. Yeah, because it died.
Remember the sea monkeys?
Yep.
Yes. I always wanted them. I never had them, but I always
Yeah.
wanted them.
Brine shrimp, right?
Yeah.
That's what they actually
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's just like
We,
I
we,
remember-
we didn't have pets growing up. That's as far as it went at our house.
We had fish. The
Gross.
best.
The pets.
gross
Um,
shrimp.
One time I remember, to go back to the talent show era, I was in a chorus when I was in elementary school. So I guess I did chorus, and then that was like
Dead giveaway.
that was wait until you hear this. So we were like closing out the show in 5th grade, and I was so excited to hype up to my family. I was like, there's a big like reveal at the end, like, and what it was like we flipped over like these neon signs and the lights went off, and it was like northern lights, like made like northern lights.
I remember that. You.
And it's like, that's one way to actually come out of the closet. No, we made we were like Northern Lights, and I was telling my brothers, I was like, just like wait to the end, like there's gonna be like a big surprise, just wait to the end. And we ended up doing that. I did the Northern Lights and everything. And then my older brother turned to my mom and he's like, Steve said there was like going to be a surprise. Like, again, like, what was the surprise? And my mom goes, I think it was those folders. Like,
That was it.
Completely just
That was a
like,
surprise.
diminished what I did. But
So excited to show everyone.
Yeah, right. Meanwhile, the people who are like running the show are like fifth grade teachers not getting paid. They had to go back to the school at 7:00.
Yeah, right.
and you also think like when you're young like that, even like high school, like you have teachers who are like, you're like, he must be like 40. And it's like looking back, it's like, oh no, Mr. Rue was 21.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like,
Yeah.
but to you, even being like 17 or 16, like looking at like a 22-year-old, you're like, oh, like they must be like 40.
Yeah, they're
And
old. They don't know anything.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
had that experience when I was subbing. And I was like, oh my God, I've become that person where like
Yeah.
they're looking at Mr. D and they're like, Mr. D's like not hip to things. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I have TikTok followers.
Well, it's funny to know teachers now that are like our age and to hear them talk about the kids in their classroom. Like I was with a teacher a couple of weekends ago, and she was saying like, man, I really fucking hate this one girl in my class. She's just ruining it for everyone. Like I had a great class at the beginning of the year. This new girl transferred in and she's just ruining it, and I can't stand her.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
to think
tough.
back, like maybe you were that kid at some point
Yeah.
that the teacher hated your guts. And you always had that one teacher you didn't really get along with.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. And that's probably what they were saying about you, that they fucking hated you.
Yeah, great. Well, that's a child. Okay? That's a child that you hate.
Yeah,
But it's
you
like,
said-
okay,
you
so
still
I
have to
get
spend,
it.
spend a lot of time with them. It's
I
like
get
you're
it.
spending a year with
Sounds
this
like you hate your
person.
job. That's what it sounds
Right.
like.
Just as long as you're not making that kid's life
No,
a living
right,
hell,
right.
you know?
No,
Because I
and
didn't
she
do
totally
anything,
isn't.
okay?
Yeah, no.
He had a fifth grade teacher that somebody, nobody knows who, but somebody pooped in the bathroom in the sink, and his fifth grade teacher brought the whole class in the bathroom to interrogate
Oh.
them.
We
my
know
God,
we
that's
know,
embarrassing.
We know
See-
who it is.
Well,
We know
one of
who
my
it is.
one of my
That's
go-tos to try to get out of class. So we had the new school that had just been built, and I knew that one of my teachers would get like rip if anybody had peed on the floor in the bathroom because it was a brand new school. So I would go in and pee on the floor in the bathroom, and then come back and be like, somebody peed on the floor in the bathroom, and then I would have to go down and I'd tell the vice principal, and it was
Sorry,
a way to
wait.
get out of class, you know.
Are you admitting to pissing on a floor?
Yep.
Wait, you did
I
that- you
created
did that
the
so, like,
created-
class would stop, like this pee in the floor, like when you halt
Yep,
class.
created the entire thing,
They
and then
never
he would
suspected
go,
you?
and then he would go off on like a whole tangent about how we didn't respect the school, and it was a blast because it was like I created the whole thing,
And it made you look good on some level.
right?
But how did you do that? You just squatted onto the floor.
No,
Well,
I just
why would
like
he
peed
squat?
on the floor next to the urinal, like nobody else was in there with me,
Interesting.
you know. So it was like I was an agent of chaos.
He's
That's
thinking
what
about
it
he's
is.
thinking about getting out of. How do I get out of here right now?
No, I used to when I used to like come home drunk at high school, college age. I'd fall asleep so drunk and not go to the bathroom. And a few nights, I opened my closet door thinking it was a bathroom in the middle of the night, just peeing all over the floor.
Yeah,
This
And
guy.
Yeah.
peeing my bed. Me and most of my friends had this issue where like at the age of like 20, 21,
This guy.
my friends' parents were buying them plastic sheets for their bed, like they're being
I didn't
potty
get
trained.
that far.
This was an ongoing issue.
It happens if you don't go to pee before you
Yeah.
go to bed, and when
Of
you're
course,
passing out
yeah.
drunk, you have so much
I-
liquid inside of you.
Right.
I used to wake up like blackout in the middle of the night and just like pee in my dorm room when
Yeah.
I was in college. I peed in the corner of the room. I peed on a pile of sweatshirts. And the best one was that I peed in a Reese's peanut butter bag and put it back in the refrigerator. And I didn't know what it was. Like, that was the whole thing. I didn't know what it
That
was,
was like
and neither did my
lemonade.
roommate. I was like, what is this bag of water in there? And he was like, I don't know. And so
I
we left it
remember
for...
that
He had a
story.
roommate.
long.
He had a roommate in Boston years ago. I remember him. She, everyone would have food in the fridge and freezer and whatever, and everyone would know whose is whose.
Mm.
Obviously, if you respect one another, you don't touch each other's food. But she had this Bertolli, right, frozen pasta that you would always eat on your own, but then you'd fill the bag back up
Yeah.
with trash.
You like come home after a night out and like you have like the drunk munchies and you're impulsive. You're like, I just want this food even though it's not mine. It's like not the right thing to do. And then afterwards I would eat it and I would regret it and be like, fuck, like I need to replace this, but like I don't have enough time. Like she's gonna see it tomorrow morning. So I'd like take this empty like frozen like Alfredo bag and be like, I need to like bulk this back up and take like crumbled up newspapers and like toilet paper and like, put it all in, like staple it back up and like put it in there. Then like I wake up the next day and like have to go to class and like go on with my day. And I forgot that I do that. And she'd get home and like be like so excited to eat dinner. She opens it up. It's like chicken bones and like newspaper inside of it.
Garbage. Why would you fill it back up with garbage?
Just scream.
To go off of the bedwetting, I had a friend who was like a chronic bedwetter when he was drinking, and he would sleep at like girls' houses, like go home with a girl and like end up sleeping in her bed and end up like peeing her bed. And he did this with one girl where like he peed her bed and she got up and like in the morning and she didn't notice. She went and like went and made breakfast. Then he woke up and he's like in a puddle of everything and he's like freaking out. So he just peed himself. So his boxers and shorts are also soaking wet. So he takes like the comforter and like drags it over the bed to conceal it and then discards his shorts and then puts on one of like her juicy like booty shorts because like that's all he has. He's wearing like a velour like juicy shorts and she's like, oh, you made the bed. She walks back in. He's like, yeah, I made the bed like a good boy. And like he leaves her house in like juicy velour booty shorts and her entire bed is like soaked in his piss.
I think we're going to wrap it up on the Hotel D'Amico.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow us on Spotify and on Apple and on Instagram.
This has been a blast. I've been enjoying the hotel.
Sibling Rivalry.
Thank you.
Check out us at 10 a.m.